Hi, my name's Charlie Thorburn. Welcome to Mordor Gun Dogs. Making the most of the sort of lovely frosty dry weather up here and doing some more videos. So we're going up another notch. This is Milla. Milla is a little black Labrador girl. She's a little bit older than all the other dogs we've seen. So she's maybe 9 months old, something like that. So we're just going to go for a little walk with her down the drive and just talk a little bit about what we're doing with her. Heel. So I bred Milla and her mum and her dad and everything else, but I'm not actually training her. So she doesn't know me apart from one of the people who cleans the kennels and feeds them and things. Someone else has been doing her training. So what I've got to do is I've got to make sure she's just tied in, tuned in to me and my training. So the first thing is she knows how to walk to heel, but we just go about the usual process of making her walk to heel. She saw the duck decoy there. The real ducks have just wandered off before we got here, because I wanted to use them as an example. But where she's at is she walks to heel on the lead. She walks to heel reasonably well off the lead. But what we're trying to do now is we're trying to encourage, we're trying to find different things for her. We're trying to let her see the decoys. Say, no, that's not for you. No, that's not for you, by tugging her on the lead. That's the first of just a simple little next level up. Some sort of distraction. We've gone from the fields on our own to, like, you know, different places. There's maybe other dogs coming past. We're looking to find problems. We feel like she's good enough on the lead for us to go out of our way to find problems. Heel. I'm insisting that she walks on my left at the pace that I walk. Okay? She's at the stage very much now, unlike the younger puppies we've seen in the previous videos, she's very much at the stage where now I'm willing to correct her, because she knows better. When a dog is learning something, if they get it wrong, it's because you're not teaching them well enough, or you've put them in a situation they're not ready for. Once they've learnt it and then they mess around, you give them that correction and you say that's not allowed. The timing of your correction is the key to it. If she does something wrong, you correct her straight away. I used to say to people, you've got 5 seconds to correct a dog, you've got 5 seconds to praise a dog. If I'm honest, if you can get that down to 1 second, you're going to be a much more effective dog trainer. So the moment she tries to jump up, I interrupt myself talking to the video and I just say and I give her a tug on the lead, okay? Because I don't want her thinking that it's okay and when I'm talking to someone else, she can get away with it. I'm constantly thinking about that pressure on the lead and her behaving. Heel. So we're going back towards the decoys, and this time she's ignored them quite happily, but she's sniffing around a little bit, so there was a little bit of requirement to give her a correction. This is something people ask me about. They go, oh, my dog likes chewing the lead or carrying the lead. Carrying the lead is fine. Chewing the lead is not fine. So if she wants to walk along like a silly goon that she is, holding onto the lead like that, I don't have a problem with it. She's a Labrador retriever. She's been bred for hundreds of years to have something in her mouth. And if that means she wants to have the lead in her mouth, then that's fine. I'm going to just take it out and just talk to you a little bit through some of the pitfalls and mistakes people make. And some of those are, sit. They make too much of a thing. So you see, as soon as she's got the lead and I start saying no and I'm doing this and I'm taking it off her and then she's getting it back and I'm distracting her away from what we're actually trying to do. Whereas if she tries to hold the lead and I just say heel, as long as she's walking to my heel, it really doesn't bother me that she's got hold of the lead herself. It doesn't worry me at all. Sit. Because probably after we've walked for a couple of 100 meters, she'll just drop it and she'll move on. Because it's just that excitement of like, oh, we're going out and we're getting the lead, and you can see she's still got hold of it. Now, if I drop the lead, she's just going to carry on walking along next to me holding the lead. Well, that's awesome. She's taking herself for a walk, but behaving at the same time. You know, she's got the idea of healing, so I don't want to make a big meal out of her holding the lead when actually what she's doing otherwise is really pretty good. Because every time I go and take it out of her mouth, she paws me and she messes around, and then she just goes and gets hold of it again. If it really bothers you, sometimes what we'll do, as long as they're not chewing it, we'll just allow them to walk around with a tennis ball in their mouth. It's not a long-term solution, but it's better that. Sit. It's better that, and better that she walks along nicely to heel than she's messing around and you're having a falling out with her because you're constantly trying to get that lead out of her mouth and she's annoying you, she's getting her foot caught in it, and you never actually make any progress because you're too busy trying to sort the lead out. Sometimes when the dog's got the lead wrapped around their leg, sometimes the dog can kind of step over the lead and get it under their leg and it's here. And people then stop and they're sort of doing this and messing around. I just say, just leave it. They've got their arm in the wrong place. If it's a bit uncomfortable for them, tough. They should have done it right in the first place. Now, these are definitely more of the rules we'd apply to an older dog than we would with a puppy, because she knows better, okay? And you can see this is her little obsession, is holding on to the lead. But if I take the lead off, Milla, sit, heel. She walks to heel pretty well spot on, okay? Because so sometimes you've got to make that call. Well, we just have the lead on when it's necessary. And this is just a maturity thing. Is she going to do this for the rest of her life? No, she's not. But I don't want to encourage it, but I also don't want to make too big a thing about discouraging it either, because it can have a detrimental effect on some of the other training. So with younger puppies, we're doing very little training and we're trying to keep it simple for them. With an older puppy like this, an older dog, we're looking to make it more complicated, as I said at the beginning. So rather than a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute training session, we're going to start going on what we call walk training sessions. And that's what we're going to do with her now. We're going to go through into this field and we're going to go for a walk. And we're going to talk to you about how we would do a walk/training session with a young dog, so that she's getting the benefit of going for a walk and getting some exercise, as are we, but she's still in control and under training. Heel. So we come into our the field where we're going to go for a walk. The park, the wood, wherever it is you're going to take the dog. There's a path up the edge. It goes right the way around. And this immediate bit here is about 10, 12 acres. And then it goes right, the same field goes right up the hill. And we can go into the forestry or wherever we want to go. So what we're looking to do with her is go for a walk. If I just get to the gate that we just walked through and say, right, off you go, fill your boots, she's just going to think, oh, I get to that gate and I run off up the field. And that's all she does on a walk. She gets to the gate, she tears off up the field, she has no engagement with you for the rest of the walk. And then at the end of the walk, you call her back, you put her back on the lead and you take her home. When we're going for a run up the field, and you can see the path going up into the distance, it's not just she's going for a run and I'm on my phone or I'm chatting to my buddy. I'm thinking about recall. Now she's being very good. Milla, good girl. Off you go. We're thinking about doing lots of recalls. So between here and one of these little beech trees we've got up the drive there, I might recall her 4 or 5 times. Once I get to that beech tree or the bend in the path that you can probably see into the distance, I'll put her back on the lead and I'll do another 50, 100 yards of walking to heel. If that goes well, I'll do some sitting and staying. I'll maybe do some retrieving. I'll then walk across the top of the field to the telegraph pole and I'll have her running free doing some recall. Then between the first telegraph pole and the second telegraph pole, she's on the lead again. Between the second one and the third one, she's off the lead. Between the third one and the trees, she's on the lead again. And between there and back here, she's off the lead. It doesn't really matter precisely how you do it. But the point is we're on the lead, off the lead, on the lead, off the lead. We're interacting with her when she's off the lead. We're interacting with her when she's off the lead, and we're keeping control of her obviously when she's on the lead. Milla, lots of recall, running away, engaging her, good girl. Off you go. And then letting her go. Now the problem with a lot of our dogs is as soon as you call them back, they think you're going to do something with them. So you call them back and they end up at your heel for a minute. But she'll soon get the idea of going for a little wander. But what I'm not doing is just coming in here, letting her go, letting her tank off around the field, chasing deer, chasing hares, chasing pheasants, and then wondering why I get to the end of the walk, I can't get her back. Because I'm about to ruin her fun and take her home. Whereas if we're engaging with her the whole way around the walk and we're chopping and changing, it just seems to her like another training session. And that's just the same as every other day for her. So we're not allowing her to get into some of these bad habits. This isn't something we would do for the rest of her life. This is just until we feel like we can trust her. She's just like a child. They're learning to drive. You're teaching a teenager how to drive. They pass their test and you start to allow them more and more freedom. You start to allow them more and more freedom. As they get more and more freedom, Sorry, I keep going because there's a bit of sheep poo or something on the floor over there. And she's going over in a Labrador way and being like, ooh, that looks nice. So I'm just I'm keeping an eye on her. I'm not just letting her to her own devices because she'd have eaten it. It's disgusting. No, can you ever stop Labradors eating sheep poo? No, probably not. But I can discourage it. But what I was saying is we're going out for a walk and we're just building up her freedom like we would allow our child or whatever, our teenager, to go further in the car, maybe take a friend in the car, maybe go away for a night with the car, maybe go away for a weekend with the car. And the more they show us that we're responsible, the more we allow them to do that. As soon as they do something stupid or they don't follow the rules or they're done speeding or they don't let us know when they're there or then they're back or they've actually got 4 people in the car, not just them on their own, then we retract the rules. We retract back again and we get tougher on them. Dog's exactly the same. The better she becomes, the more relaxed she is, but she's still listening, the happier I'm for her to run her off. Milla. As long as every time I call her, she comes back. Every time I say heel, she doesn't go, oh, but I'm in the field, I want to run off. Sit. She goes, I'll heel. Every time I say sit, she sits. Every time I ask her to sit, she remains sitting. And then I go, well done, that's another little bit of training, off you go again. So we maybe give her a retrieve as a little reward. Good girl. She brings it back. So all these things are much more entertaining to her than just going for a walk. Okay, just running off around the field like Forrest Gump is not as fun as doing something with me. As she gets older, I will do less with her. I allow her to run more and more. And what I'll find is she'll just spend most of her time at heel. And what we find with our older dogs who are maybe 5, 6, 7 plus, they just wander along at our heel. They have no interest in, they have a bolt off up the field, they go to the loo, and then they come back and they spend the rest of the walk at heel. Because that's just where they're happy. I hope you've all learnt something. Milla's certainly having a nice time. And remember, you get out what you put in. Milla.